Stop with the dramatic black woman act. Just let those words sink in for a second. These are the words a doctor spoke to a dying woman, a woman who was 8 months pregnant, telling him that she felt like her body was literally tearing apart from the inside.
Her name was Naomi Ward, and as she was pleading for her life and the life of her unborn child, her doctor, a man named Preston Hargrove, diagnosed her with anxiety. He told her to behave like an adult.
Now, standing right there, watching this whole nightmare unfold, was her husband, Elias. He heard every single condescending remark, saw every dismissive wave of the hand. And what Dr. Hargrove had no way of knowing was that he had just messed with the absolute wrong person. Every one of those words was about to cost him everything.
Okay, so let's get into it. This is a story about a cover-up, the corrupt system that protected it, and the one man who refused to let them get away with it.
Right from the moment Naomi Ward walked into that hospital, the lines were drawn. I mean, look at this. On one side, you have her desperate, specific pleas for help. She knew something was catastrophically wrong. And on the other side, Dr. Hargrove's diagnosis, made without even a proper examination. He wasn't treating a patient, he was dismissing a person based on his own ugly prejudice.
And this timeline, this just shows you how deliberate the neglect was. This wasn't some single tragic mistake. At 11:17 p.m., Naomi herself sounds the first alarm. By 11:42, a nurse is escalating, bringing hard data. Her blood pressure is spiking. But Hargrove just waves it off, says he'll reassess in an hour or two. And then comes the most chilling detail of all. At 12:53 a.m., as Naomi's body is failing, a critical alarm goes off. And someone makes the choice to manually silence.
And this is the official story he cooked up. Moments after Naomi died, while her husband was literally being pinned against a wall by security in his grief, Dr. Hargrove was calmly dictating this narrative into the hospital's records. He wasn't grieving. He was already building the cover-up, blaming the victim. But he made one critical error. He completely underestimated her husband.
In a quiet hospital stairwell, the entire power dynamic shifted in a heartbeat. Elias Ward cornered Dr. Hargrove, not as a grieving husband, but as a federal agent. You can just imagine the mask of authority cracking as the doctor realized the man whose wife he'd just let die was trained to dismantle systems exactly like the one that was protecting him. The investigation had just begun.
And here's the thing. This wasn't the first time. A brave nurse, Tessa Glynn, risked her entire career to slip Elias a secret note. What was in it? Files on 2 other black mothers who had died under Dr. Hargrove's care in the past year. 2 other deaths that had been dismissed, settled, and buried. With those files, Elias uncovered a horrifying pattern. It was a cold, calculated playbook. The victims were always black mothers. Their legitimate medical fears were always dismissed as just being dramatic. Critical care was always delayed, and after the inevitable tragedy, the grieving families were always pressured in signing a settlement to buy their silence.
And this is why it was so hard to stop. Because it wasn't just one bad doctor, it was an entire network. You had Hargrove, who delayed care and faked the records. You had the hospital administrator, Gail Renshaw, orchestrating the cover-ups. There was a corrupt detective, Vince Malloy, who acted as the enforcer, intimidating families. And all of it was protected by a judge, Judge Pritchard, who used his power to block any official investigation. It was a machine designed to protect itself. So when Elias started pulling at those threads, that machine fought back. And it fought back hard. First, they used their connections to get him suspended from the FBI. Then, things got physical. An arson attempt on his car in his own driveway. And when that didn't work, they put Nurse Glenn, his one ally, in the hospital. The message was crystal clear. Stop digging, or we'll bury you next.
So that brings us to the core problem. With the legal system blocked, your badge taken away, and your allies under attack, how in the world do you prove what a doctor like Hargrove is doing? The answer was as brilliant as it was risky. You used the doctor's own arrogance against him. Working with a prosecutor who believed him, Elias set up a sting operation. They sent in a wired decoy patient, a black woman named Simone Brooks, presenting with the exact same symptoms as Naomi. They built him a stage, and he walked right out onto it.
And this was the first damning piece of evidence they caught on tape. Instead of ordering tests for the decoy patient, Hargrove offers this racist generalization. He wasn't practicing medicine, he was just confirming his bias, out loud with the FBI recording every single word.
But this was the final nail in the coffin. Caught on a hot mic talking to the hospital administrator, Hargrove reveals his true motive. His refusal to treat Naomi wasn't about medical judgment.
He thought he was teaching these people a lesson. He had just confessed to the entire conspiracy on tape. And with that recording, the federal warrants were signed. The first person to go down was the man at the center of it all. Dr. Preston Hargrove was arrested mid-round, his authority just evaporating as those cuffs snapped shut.
Next up was the architect of the cover-up. Gail Renshaw was arrested in her top-floor office, the same office where she chose to protect hospital metrics instead of human lives. And finally, the enforcer. Detective Vince Malloy was arrested for conspiracy and corruption, his power to intimidate grieving families gone for good. The entire network was dismantled in a single, coordinated takedown. But this story, it isn't just about punishment, it's about legacy. Because from the ashes of this awful tragedy, something real and structural was built. The Naomi Ward Maternal Care Initiative, a new clinic with new protocols funded by money seized from the very people who caused all this harm. And this initiative wasn't just a new building. It brought federally enforced patient care protocols, mandatory bias training, and independent oversight to make sure this could never happen again. And maybe most importantly, it created scholarships to empower a new generation of Black maternal healthcare professionals, changing not just the rules, but who gets to make them.
Ultimately, this story proves that sometimes fixing a broken system comes down to the one person who refuses to accept the official story. The one person who keeps digging, keeps pushing, and insists that a life mattered. It leaves all of us with a final question to think about. When we see a system that's failing the very people it's supposed to serve, what is our responsibility?